Hey guys, welcome back. This is my second episode of vlogging, and I have the same selfie stick. I'm going to take some advice from you guys. You had said in my very first vlog that I was walking around too much and I was making you guys dizzy. So now I'm sitting in some chair. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of a lawn chair thing. Very low slung lawn chair. I have ants crawling up my legs already. But yeah, I took your advice. I'm going to sit down this time because I don't want to make you guys dizzy. And yeah, I don't have a gimbal with me. This is a selfie stick I picked up at Best Buy when I took my son to go pick up some stuff for him to play with. But some crazy things were happening today while we were out trying to enjoy our vacation. My phone was blowing up. We have Google, YouTube back at it again. They're handing out account strikes left and right like candy to the gun channels. Brownells got banned completely from YouTube, but within a couple of days, thanks to you guys and the outrage that followed, they got their channel reinstated, but not everybody's that lucky. There's been plenty of small channels that have gotten kicked off completely. Never Enough Ammo, Small Arms Solutions. Those guys fortunately moved over to full 30, but they all want to be on YouTube. I mean, let's be honest about it. YouTube has billions of people worldwide. I mean, I don't know if it's billions, but millions upon millions of people worldwide that use their service. And just the drive-by traffic alone means views for us. And it hurts very badly when you get kicked off YouTube if you're a social media person and this is how you make a living, which it is. This is how we make a living. Jason and I, this is our primary job. And yeah, so Google has been on a rip again. There was, a lot of talk about Google's firearms policy up until just a month or two ago. Google didn't have a written policy regarding firearms, so they implemented a new policy. And I had many conversations with my Google rep. I'm large enough, subscriber-wise, to be assigned a rep that happens at 500,000 subscribers. And I talked to him and tried to get the lowdown on what the new policies meant because they're kind of nebulous, kind of catch-all. And I kind of sort of got straight answers, but it seems like the account strikes that are being handed out right now are related to suppressor videos, at least a few of them anyway. And, I warned everybody that under the new YouTube policies when they went into effect that the smaller channels that didn't have representation at Google would be at the highest risk of these new moderators. For example, 10,000 of these new moderators, and that's not all of them by any means, but 10,000 of these new moderators are being supplied by the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is a known far left activist group. And those guys have been given this nebulous policy, which they're enforcing against gun channels. And, like the suppressor videos that are being struck right now by Google, YouTube, they're synonymous. Under this new policy, it's being done by these, political activists that are anti-gun. And so we're seeing a whole rash of these things happening. So everything was pretty much all quiet. There wasn't a major purge of gun channels after the new policy went into effect. I told you guys there probably wouldn't be. It would be more subtle. They would start with the smaller channels, like Just an Opinion, who got strikes today, like 8541 Tactical, who got strikes within the last day or two, like 13C Gun Reviews, who got struck today. I warned you guys that it would start with the smaller channels that don't have direct representation at Google, that weren't large enough. They would start to target those channels and take them out because the public outcry would be far less. And if over time they could slowly get rid of the smaller channels, they're going to start gunning for us, the larger channels. And because, nobody gets outraged when a smaller channel that some of you may have never heard of, the channels I just mentioned, when they get their plugs yanked, you're not going to, send a barrage of emails to YouTube saying, hey, what are you doing? Reinstate this channel. And YouTube knows they can get away with it. And that's pretty much what's happening. I kind of predicted it. It seems to be what's happening. Although Brownells got hit. I don't think they were over 500,000 subs, but they got hit. They didn't even get a strike. They just got banned. But given their position in the community and the number of people that were outraged by it, because everybody in our community on social media reposted what happened to them, the outrage caused Google to reconsider, and they had their channels reinstated, but Never Enough Ammo didn't have their channel reinstated. You know, Small Arms Solutions didn't have their channels reinstated. They have their channels over on full30.com. So if you're looking for those guys, please go over there and support them. We need to support our community. And that's what Full30 was originally, was intended to be the lifeboat for our community. And so, yeah, that's what's happening. So I'll talk a little bit about Full30. So when Full30 started, it was intended to grow slowly and it's on its own financial resources until something bad happened, because we had plenty of offers of buyouts and plenty of offers for investment, but we turned them all down. We wanted to just slowly and organically grow the system. And then when Google came out with their new firearms policies, and we felt that that really presented a clear and present danger to the gun channels, that's when we went out and took investment capital. And you're going to see Full30 grow significantly over the course of the next few months in terms of functions and features. And yes, an app is coming very soon. But that's a whole other thing. A Droid app will be coming very soon. We want to launch an Apple app very soon, but we have to deal with Apple. They don't want firearms content. They will not approve it. They've denied our applications in the past, so we're having to be creative in how we describe what the Full30 app is. It's just a video streaming app, and we're not even mentioning firearms, and hopefully we can get it through. Otherwise, we may just have to go with, you know, apps for the other devices, which really sucks. Makes me want to get rid of my iPhone, but I can't. I'm kind of married to Mac at this point because it's the only thing I know how to use. And at my old age, it's kind of hard to change, shift gears. But yeah, so this has been crazy. It's been eating at me all day. You know, we tried to have a nice day. We went to Union Station in Kansas City. You know, my sons love playing with science experiments. They love, you know, being out and running around and seeing new things. And meanwhile, my phone's blowing up the whole time, and I'm thinking, you know, how can I help? And so I'm constantly on my phone texting, and I can't even enjoy vacation. I mean, I could if I turned my phone off, but I can't do that. I'm an activist, and when things start going wrong in my community, I'm not going to let my brothers and sisters down because I'm on vacation. So I'm trying to get people set up on Full30. I'm trying to make posts on social media to get people active, to complain to YouTube about, you know, what they're doing. And I can't take a week off. I just can't, not as long as I have a cell phone in my pocket. So I guess it's some sort of an addiction, right? I don't know. It's just it's a passion, and it's something I believe in, and we just have to fight for our rights. And that brings me to something I was kind of chewing on this week as well, and especially today. You know, I'm a libertarian, right? So I'm neither Republican or Democrat, and I've been struggling with this whole idea of what Google and YouTube has become. I really feel like YouTube is a monopoly. There really isn't a major competitor to YouTube. There just isn't. And so if they're a monopoly and the internet is the new town square, if I want my voice heard by millions of people, and I have about 2.5 million to 3 million people that watch my videos a month, according to my analytics, you know, YouTube is the new public town square. This is the only place we can really go to be heard because of its size, because it is a monopoly, because it doesn't have a competitor. It is the new town square. So should they be allowed to discriminate? And, you know, they're a publicly traded company, not truly a private company. They're publicly traded. But, you know, I struggle with that myself. I mean, I'm a business owner, and I don't want the federal government coming in and telling me how to run my business. And, you know, that's really difficult for me. So I don't know how I feel about it, right? So, but Google's definitely carrying out a political agenda. And is that right? I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about it. You know, is it right that Google has that capability? Do you think it is a new public town square? Do you think they should be forced to allow all speech and not just, you know, the left-leaning type of commentary that they seem to leave alone? There's multiple lawsuits out there pending right now. Prager University is one of them that's suing YouTube because of their business practices and discriminatory practices. We've all basically signed the same contract. We're all basically working under the same terms of service, but gun channels and conservative speech channels are treated differently by Google, even though, you know, we're operating under the exact same agreements as everybody else and the people they protect and allow to, you know, promote their leftist agenda. You know, the free-minded, the libertarian, the conservative agenda is squashed by YouTube. It's purposely squashed through their algorithms and through their actions in banning various channels. And so I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about that. That's a tough one for me to answer, man. But we're going to have to answer it. We have to figure it out. And yeah, I'd be interested what you guys have to say about that, because I don't know what to think at this point. I mean, because my livelihood depends on it, I want to have a voice on YouTube, and I don't want to be silenced. I don't want to see gun channels as a whole kicked off YouTube. You know, a lot of people jokingly say Pornhub. I'm not going to go to Pornhub. That's a joke. I can't do that. I have people come up to me literally every week thanking me for the fact that I don't cuss in video. So I am family friendly. They can pull me up on their television app and sit there with their entire family, the children included, and watch a freedom video with firearms, and they know I'm not going to drop the F-bomb. I'm not going to cuss. I'm not going to, you know, go off on people and do, you know, wild and crazy things for the most part. 80s hip fire, I think, is about as wild and crazy as I get. I think I've set off some tannerite in past videos, but I don't want to mess with that either, because YouTube's probably going to crack down on that if they haven't already. I know the government was there for a while with what was going on with FPS Russia, but he seems to be the only one that was actually charged with using explosives while, you know, on YouTube, or at least investigated for it. I don't know if he was ever charged for it. But yeah, I don't know what to think, guys. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about that. Yeah, then I think about where we are just as a country. It's, you know, as I'm walking around, I am carrying my handgun. I still feel free. But honestly, guys, I've visited former Soviet satellite state countries that live more free than we do. The Czech Republic's one of them, and they're about to exit the EU simply because they're trying to write their own Second Amendment. And that's a very free country. Heck, I've probably broken 5 laws since I walked outside and jumped in this lawn chair and started talking to you guys. And that's just our country. That's what our legislature does. And it seems like it all started to fall apart right after the Civil War through Reconstruction. And then we had the New Deal from Roosevelt that implemented socialist, which is communist to me. It's synonymous. There is no such thing as true communism anymore than there's a true democracy that exists. True communism doesn't exist either. But most communist states are actually socialist states. And so, you know, Roosevelt was a communist, and he got his social programs pushed through, and which just gave more and more power to the federal government and took more and more power away from us as individuals and the states. I'm a big advocate for states' rights. As an example, it's kind of funny when the guys that are left-leaning were all up in arms about Texas wanting to secede. They have billboards when you drive through certain areas of Texas that call for a secessionist movement. And the left used to give them a really hard time and say it's not legal. That was decided during the Civil War. It's not legal for states to secede and blah, 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 which isn't true. I've read the Constitution, and it says, you know, any power not specifically given to the federal government, that power falls to the people in the individual states. And nowhere in the Constitution does it say that you can't secede. And so the left was totally anti-secessionist right up until Trump got elected. And then California started talking about wanting to secede from the Union. And here's what's funny. I'm consistent. I try to be anyway in my political beliefs. I support their efforts to secede. I support Texas's efforts to secede. It's their right as a state to do what they want and govern themselves. And I think they're doing it for the wrong reasons, but that doesn't matter. It's not like, I don't think like some of the far left people do as I say, not as I do. You know, you can live free as long as you live free like I do. I don't believe in that. You know, if California wants to secede because they don't like the president, then so be it. Secede. If you got the votes for it and that's what your population wants, go do it. It's for the wrong reasons, but I'm not going to be hypocritical and say you can't do it, but Texas can, because they want to they want to secede for different reasons, more conservative reasons. And I'm neither a Republican or Democrat. I think most of you guys know that. I'm a libertarian. I think both the Republican parties and the Democratic parties have screwed us over horribly. As a matter of fact, most anti-gun laws have been given to us, at least in my lifetime, by Republicans. It's not for lack of trying on the Democrats' part. You know, President Obama actually signed pro-gun legislation in his first term. He gave us national carry, right to carry our firearms in national parks. You know, I was surprised by that. You know, it's not that he wouldn't have signed an assault weapons ban if one was put on his desk for a signature. He absolutely would have signed it. But, you know, here we have Trump and the NRA constantly screwing us over. And under 1.5 years of Republican leadership, we've gotten at least 2 anti-gun laws passed, and one's in the works. They got the NICS fix which is the NRA's bill, which is just gun owner harassment with a 97% false positive. That's something I was directly affected by. I was caught up in the NICS system. I couldn't buy a firearm without being delayed. I had to go get a UPIN, which is basically registering myself with the federal government. The paperwork's similar to buying a NFA item like a suppressor or an SBR. And I had to do that just so I wouldn't be harassed when I went to go buy a gun. I had to register myself with the federal government. And they expanded that. NRA pushed it, Trump pushed it, boom, NICS fix, which is the expansion. And for those of you that supported that, thinking it was some great compromise, enjoy your waiting period. We got that done, and then of course we have the bump stock ban, which is being done with an end run around Congress with the full support of the NRA, pushing Trump and his administration to ban bump stock, something the NRA has never wanted us to have, and they've never wanted us to have machine guns. And now the NRA is pushing this red flag law. And that's another anti-gun piece of legislation, which not only affects our Second Amendment rights, but our Fourth Amendment rights. I mean, the NRA is on a complete rip to destroy the Constitution and Bill of Rights, and people aren't saying anything about it. I am. I went to the NRAM with a bunch of you guys, and we tried to wake people up, but it's going to take us years to wake up NRA members to the fact the NRA doesn't really support firearms ownership. They support wealth and power for themselves and for a small number of people. When their executives make more money personally than they spend fighting laws, presumably, and that's what the NRA does, there's a problem there, especially when you're registered as a nonprofit organization. I'd beg to differ when Wayne LaPierre by himself makes a $5 million+ salary a year. But I don't want to get on an NRA rip. It's just, yeah, it's just sad. This isn't the country I grew up in. I'm sitting here going through my old hometown, and 30 years ago, this is where I grew up, and I've seen the town's flourishing. The town I'm in right now is really, really small, but Lawrence, the neighboring town, that was where I primarily grew up, and it's not a small town by any stretch of the imagination anymore. It's growing quickly, and I remember that town being much smaller, and I remember living more free, although I will say the gun laws in Kansas have drastically improved. I talked about that in my last vlog. But yeah, so I don't know, guys. It's just kind of crazy. I'd like to hear what you guys think about the whole YouTube thing. If you think that YouTube should be forced to allow freedom of speech or not. If you think that they have the right and you don't care if they're a monopoly. Do you care if they're a monopoly? Do you think we should do something to break that monopoly up? It looks like the family's back. That's the van we rented to go on vacation. My wife just got done taking the kids to the park. We went to Union Station today and checked out some exhibits. It's really cool. That's in Kansas City. Seeing the old Union Station, that's a train park, and or not train park, a train station back before airliners were a thing. And yeah, the kids had a blast. And now they went to the park right after dinner. The sun's just starting to go down. It's kind of hard to be on vacation when you're a social media guy. It really, really is. You got that phone in your pocket, and your phone's blowing up, and people are getting account strikes. I'm constantly checking to make sure I'm not getting any, and making sure it's kind of sucks to wake up every morning and wonder if you still have a job or not. And I know how that feels for my fellow gun channel guys that are right now being affected by all these strikes and bannings. Oh, yep. So even on vacation, I have to work. I don't have to, I choose to, but I just can't let it go by. I'm an activist by nature, and I'm not going to sit silently by, take a week off and let this stuff happen. I've been posting every chance I get. When I hear another channel's being hit with strikes or bannings, I'm posting on Instagram trying to get folks to, blow up YouTube's inbox and blow up their phone lines like they did for Brownells. They got Brownells reinstated, but some of the smaller channels are just not going to get reinstated. There's just not enough of an outrage, and Google's kind of banking on that, I think. Oh well, guys, I hope you enjoy these vlogs. Like I said, I take your advice. I sat down, I quit walking around so I wouldn't make you guys dizzy. I don't have a gimbal. I do, I have one at home, but it doesn't work with Apple devices because apparently my Apple phones, the current generations, have stabilizing features in them, which doesn't look like it based upon the movement of the video on the selfie stick. But when you put it on the gimbal, you get all sorts of weird video anomalies because of the stabilization on the phone. So I'm gonna have to play with that when I get home. I also read that they had a patch or a fix for it. So I'll try. It's the Osmo is what I'm using, or I have, but I gave up using because it didn't work with my phones. So it just sits there in a box. Great investment there. But I'll try it with this phone, see if it works. And if it does, I'll give you guys stabilized video. And I do like walking around. I'm gonna do some vlogs maybe from downtown while we're still here in Lawrence. I can show you what my hometown is that I grew up in, if I get a chance to. If not, I hope to make a couple more of these videos anyway. I don't know if I'm going to keep these just for my Patreons only. Right now, my first one is only available to my Patreons. You know, I like to give them something special, something extra, but I may make some of these public. So if the episode numbers skip, you know, like episode 1's already out there. This is episode 2, but episode 1 isn't public. It's only for my Patreons. I'm still trying to figure out if I want to make them all available to the public or just make them available to my Patreons first for a little while, then release them to the public. I don't know. Still thinking about that one. Again, you know, for my Patreons, I love to hear what you guys think. You're going to be watching this before anybody else. But yeah. So anyway, interesting vacation. It seems like every time I leave for work, typically, every time I go out of town, I get account strikes or account strikes start happening or something blows up with YouTube. And I spend my entire time out of town trying to fix what YouTube has done. and this is no different. While it's not directly affecting me just yet, it's affecting other friends in the community and my fellow gun bloggers or vloggers or YouTubers, whatever you want to call us. And I can't sit silently by. You know, I can't just go, oh, well, at least it's not affecting me and just sit silently by. I care about my community, and that's why I'm an activist. But anyway, let you guys, or please tell me what you guys think about these vlogs, if you enjoy them. I am trying to listen to your comments, and because, like I said, this is new to me. This is only my second vlog, but I'm having a good time with them, and basically, it's kind of refreshing to be able to sit down at the end of the day, talk about things that have happened and talk about things that are going on. And a lot of you guys have asked me to do these, so I'm doing them. But anyway, guys, please consider swinging by supporting us on Patreon if this makes it out to YouTube. There is a link down below if this winds up being out there open to everybody on YouTube. And not just support us at the Military Arms Channel, but consider supporting other gun bloggers and people in the community. And anyway, until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. And we will talk to you guys soon.